and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on the forum.
And this is Parker. Go by Tweak on forums.
This is Jeremy. You'll know me by the hashtag Leave Thanos Alone on forums.
Yeah, not even you believe that statement.
I've been forced.
I just realized I said Tweak on forums. I haven't gone by Tweak on forums in a long time, but I don't know why. I just reverted to an old.
I mean, you also haven't gone by Dr. Mantis Topoggan MD on the forums either.
I haven't done
in a long time.
No, I haven't done because the forums.
A long time being the entirety of your entire life.
The forums are a terrifying hellscape. I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want. Do not want. Do not want.
I feel like it's like if I actually post on the forums, I'll just wake up the next day on 4chan and not know what I've done with the last 24 hours.
I
just log in.
4chan.
I just have a login. Mine is just Parker and then Parker's last name at. And it's very simple.
My username is Parker's Social. He logs in. He's like, "Oh my god, it actually is."
Oh no!
I sure hope not. I sure hope not.
All right. So quick announcements for today. Parker's down to 929 probationary episodes. Congrats, Parker. You're down to the big 930.
Whoop whoop!
Great job.
Break another 10 spot.
Basically all the way done. We're gonna find about a couple bets soon. Parker bet me 50 episodes that there would be a reason of the crisis cards we got in the new release box that comes out on the 10th, and not just randomly picked by some idiot. And then what did also we bet? 25 episodes that Black Swan is only a Black Order character. So,
I would like to bet 75 episodes that I am wrong on the tactics card bet.
You're gonna hedge? You're gonna hedge, huh?
No. Well, you offered me to hedge before, and I realized hedging. See, since I don't actually have any ducats here, like I have there's no currency.
Well, so the normal
here.
downside to
I
hedging,
lose nothing.
Yeah, the normal downside to hedging is the juice, which is the
Right.
fee or overhead or vig or whatever you want to call it, that the institution or individual you are betting with takes off the top for the cost of placing the bet.
Right.
Basically, it's the house's rake. So in this situation, if you ever want to hedge, the way that we're going to hedge, because you're playing with credit, is you have to delete the first bet entirely. So there is no chance it could pay off. So if you're willing to delete the first bet and bet and just lose it immediately, and then bet another amount on the other outcome, I'm fine with that. But you can't have two bets on the same outcome on different outcomes.
Hold on.
Same thing.
So you're letting me just change my bet instead of...
Well, you're gonna gain the 50 episodes as if you had lost the initial bet, and then make a second bet in the opposite direction.
Now
so
I see.
I
automatically
go to
go to
979. Yeah, you go to 979 right now.
Okay.
But you could make a whole new bet on that same outcome.
I see. So I automatically lose the first bet, but the window to make a new bet is open.
Right.
I see.
So if you're willing to say that they said, because you said...
Basically,
I said the wording you used is Parker says someone said, "Shut up and buy the crisis cards." And so that was basically saying that whoever does pick the cards in the box had no rhyme or reason other than we don't want to give you the cards you actually need.
Yeah.
Which is odd that they put any cards in there other than the errated cards if that was the situation.
Yeah. The writing is on the wall here.
Now it wouldn't. Now I could believe there's a world where somebody in the Asmodee production chain told AMG, "Hey, the cost it's going to be to produce a card pack and put it on a wall, the lowest price point we're comfortable with is $20. And for $20, we can include this many of each type of card." And then they said, "Yeah, just fill it up with the core set stuff, I guess." And because it was going to cost $20 to put it on the shelf if it was 10 cards or 100 cards. So they just did 100. And they're like, whatever. We'll just put in the most needed cards, which I guess we'll say are the core set cards. I could see that happened. I just don't think that's what happened. So do you want to hedge?
Yeah, I want to hedge the bet.
You want to hedge? All right.
I'm immediately losing the other bet, and I'm making a new bet. Yes.
All right, so we're going to 979. Man, this is a bad day for Parker.
I'm going
All right,
up,
so
but
what's
I'm
your
going
new
down.
bet? What's your new bet?
Okay, so my new bet is that these cards, to see if I understand the situation correctly. I don't want to say the wrong thing. That these, I'm explaining my situation, my bet.
Yeah.
The cards in the pack are the cards they want included in the new legal set that would otherwise have been excluded. Like Patch Up, for example. Patch Up would have been excluded because they're making certain set that Patch Up belongs to go away, but they want Patch Up to be included. So the new card pack are all cards that they want to specifically include in the legal version of the game moving forward. Is any of that? I think I got that out exactly as I wanted it to.
And how many episodes would you like to bet?
Oh, you know what? I'm going to...
Well, you just lost 50, so if it's less than 50, you're just losing money.
Yeah.
So...
No. I actually think I'm going to bet... I'm going to bet really big on this one. I'm really confident in this.
Oh boy.
So I'm going to bet...
This is...
I'm willing to go to 4 figures. I'm going to bet...
What?
If I lose, I'm going to go with 250 episodes.
Okay.
I am so sure. 250 episodes.
250 episodes, and this is going to be episode 89, I think. So, for reference, we have to look it up. It's episode 89. All right, so Parker is betting that the new card pack is to effectively, quote, reprint the cards in the box for the new format, which will be if they're doing a rotationary-based tactics card selection to make these cards legal for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, he's betting 250 episodes. All right, cool. All right, we have a new bet, gentlemen.
Aha. Okay.
Alrighty. So Parker's other bet was... Oh, yeah, we already did that one. All right, so we already talked about Black Swan. Let's get rid of this old stuff. All right, so we're going to move into our next segment. The news.
News. All right, so news today, hot off the press, is that they are, during Mini Extravaganza next week, they're having a special event called Renewal of Vows. Basically from June 9th to June 11th, during the Marvel Extravaganza, there's going to be a special Marvel Crisis Protocol campaign going on. And I guess you tune in to the Mini Extravaganza to find out what the special scenarios are. We do know that these squad threat values go 19, 17, and 17. So on Thursday, they're going to post a mission that's 19, and then Friday and Saturday, 17 and 17, respectively. So tune in if you want to do the global event. And I believe the last one had something. Did they have it where you could report in?
Yeah,
like your
that's why I was gonna jump in here. So last year they did the Save Magic campaign, which was the science people invading from the other dimension, fighting the magic users. And so, like, you're supposed to defend magic was I think the name of the campaign. Mm-hmm. Basically, yeah, it's a community interactive event where you will log in online and catalog your results, and the overall results will go towards the outcome of the campaign. If anyone is a veteran 40K player listening to this, this is kind of like the old summer campaigns 40K used to do, where you could play games at your game store under the right conditions, but mainly like the league rules, and then your game store would report your games back to Games Workshop, and they would catalog all of the results from across the world, and you would actually make a difference in the upcoming events. And so, like, if, let's say, for example, they did a Tau versus Orcs campaign, you could log your games, and, like, if Tau won, Tau would get the first army book of the summer, and then stuff like that. Or they would get, like, a new unit in the following chapter approved and stuff like that. And so it was pretty cool. It was nice that the community could try and, like, swing something one way or another. So this is kind of reminiscent of that, where it's a community integrated gameplay where you get to affect the storyline a bit. So that's pretty cool. They did do one similar to this last year. Do you know anything about the renewal of vows? Does that ring a bell to you as far as storyline wise? Like, is there some event they're referring to? Because they
Uh,
have Mystique on the like cover art.
right. Well, it says Krakoa is in bloom and pride is in the air. So, since it's the LGBTQ month and
Mhm.
Mystique is, uh, I think she's a lesbian. I don't know if she might be bi-curious. But I think it's just a nod to LGBTQ month and pride, of course, being a reference to homosexual gay
Okay.
pride. And so now I do not know if Renewal of Vows is actually a special event that's happening on Krakoa, like a special mini event. I have been following the Krakoa X-Men stuff religiously, but all my stuff is like 8 months after it happens because I'm buying the graphic novels instead of reading the comics as they come out. So maybe Renewal. I know a big subplot in the Krakoa story is that Mystique, who's playing by all of the X-Men rules right now. She's a member of X-Force, and she's a Strike Team member, and she's already died like once or maybe twice now. Um, you know, to further the mutants' cause, and she's playing ball with everyone. She keeps telling Magneto and Professor X that I'm doing this so you will resurrect Destiny, which is her wife. You will bring Destiny back. For those who don't know who Destiny is the the premier precog of the mutant world. She has like perfect precognition. There's a couple of precognitive mutants, but she is insanely strong at it. And
Isn't she the one who had the books of truth?
yes,
Okay.
she wrote down the books of truth for Mystique, like do this, and she told Mystique that Mystique has not told anybody else this, but she told Mystique if they don't resurrect me when they finally make Krakoa and basically mutants no longer have to fear death. If they don't resurrect me, burn the place to the ground. So like just absolutely destroy it. So Mystique's playing like she's always playing two hands, right? But on one hand she is saying, bring my wife back. You have the ability to do so. And on the other hand, she's got this this ultimatum basically that Legacy gave her before she died. Is Legacy? Did I say Legacy? Legacy virus killed her. Sorry, Destiny is her wife's name. The reason why Destiny is not being brought back, and they keep stalling Mystique and saying no, not yet, no, not yet. You keep doing jobs, no, not yet. Keep helping us, and we'll think about it. They keep doing that to her is because, spoiler alert for anybody who's getting into the Krakoa stuff. Destiny is the only one who can see well enough into the future to understand Moira McTaggart's plans and who Moira McTaggart actually is, because she's actually a really big part of this whole Krakoa story, but she's completely behind the scenes. Nobody knows that she's like part of the Illuminati controlling this whole Krakoa thing, and so Moira is absolutely terrified of Destiny because Destiny is the only mutant to ever be able to see her do things behind the scenes, because that's that's what she does, is she sees everything. So they are so Moira keeps telling Magneto and Professor X, do not under any circumstances let Destiny come back or everything is ruined. She'll ruin everything because she'll tell us what's actually going to happen and it's all over. Who cares?
Okay.
So my guess is Renewal of Vows, if that's actually an event in the Marvel Universe, which it might be, is about that. Like it's that situation coming to a head. Do they resurrect Destiny or not? And if they do not, what does Mystique do about it?
This is interesting. It feels like for the first time since way early on in the game, it's starting to sync up with what's going on in the actual Marvel universe, because COVID threw everything out of sync, and so it feels like we're getting more on track again. Like from what I saw, I guess we'll talk about this in a moment, but a lot of the streams that they've scheduled for Marvel seem to be focused around the Asgardians, and it's syncing up pretty well with Love and Thunder coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that was our brief little modified comic corner. Hopefully you guys enjoyed.
Yeah.
Parker, do you want to read the schedule? Do you have that pulled up?
Yeah, I got the schedule.
Right.
So the schedule for next week, Do you want to go through all of it, or specifically the Marvel
Now
Crisis
let's just
Protocol
focus
stuff?
on the Marvel stuff.
Yeah,
If
'cause
people are interested in the Star Wars junk, then
Right.
they can check
Yeah.
it on their own.
So they're going to have an opening ceremony, starts on Thursday at 9 o'clock. It lasts for half an hour, so you expect there to be, a lot of spoilers in there. They usually drop a couple bombs in there to let people know what to come back for. They've got at noon they're painting Nick Fury for an hour, and during those paintings they often drop a lot of spoilers in there. So it's something to even if you're not a big painter, maybe just have it on the background and listen to it because they do talk a lot.
For anyone who isn't familiar with these streams, they're very interactive with the chat while they're painting. Like they'll have
Yes.
one person there that's just reading questions to the developers and the painters that are sitting there. And so you can get in there and maybe you can kind of steer the conversation towards the spoilers you're looking for, which is kind of fun.
Mhm.
So I do recommend, if you are free, to jump on Twitch and try and get in there.
Yeah. And then if you want to see Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff, you have to come back on Friday at 9 o'clock. Friday 9 a.m. till 10:30 a.m. So it's a full hour and a half. Is their big keynote Marvel MCP cast on Twitch. From Earth to Asgard is the name of it. So we're going to get a lot of information, we assume, about Asgardians, and also stuff coming up for the coming year. So their big one is Friday from 9 to 10:30. That's the time to absolutely tune in. If you come back at 4 o'clock, they're going to be painting a lot of SHIELD team members for an hour at 4 to 5. And again, that's another really good day to show up and participate on the stream. They love talking to chat. And then at the end of the day, Friday, which is 7 to 9, is what's called End of the Day Celebration. And they don't say here specify if that's about X-Wing or MCP, but it is a painting one. It's got the little painting logo on it, so I don't know what that really means. But End of the Day Celebration.
It's usually kind of just a little hangout where they finish up the models that they started painting throughout the weekend. They try and finish them all at once.
There you go.
Because a lot of times they have to, the painting ones are timed, so a lot of times they have to cut it short.
Then on Saturday, again at 9 o'clock, it's a painting, Mad Scientists and Crime Lords. It's all about giving villains a distinct look. So if you want your villains to look villainous, they'll give you some tips there. Then they actually have, as they always do, a full game of MCP. The full game is from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock on Saturday. It's called Asgardians in Action, so I'm sure you'll get to see the new Asgardians actually getting played. They usually throw in other models and maybe a few tactics cards in there too, so you'll see more stuff there. And then a superhero's best friend painting MCP animals is on Saturday at 3 o'clock. And then the closing ceremony is half an hour starting at 5 on Saturday. So it looks like the main time, for sure, Friday at 9, from 9 to 10:30 is going to be a lot of info. And you'll probably also see a lot of game info on Saturday for the live game from 11 to 1. And you'll probably also see them break their own rules as they are off to do on stream.
Yeah.
But
not just the rules of the game, just in general, like rules of society, of man, like everything.
Gravity, they go the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I remember I was last year. I was in the chat when they were painting Juggernaut, and I was steering Schick in the direction of spoiling Juggernaut rules. It was really fun. I like it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that gets us out of the news segment. Moving into currently playing. Parker has down here that he is currently watching Cabal lose games. Is that in reference to, you think Criminals might be slightly better than Cabal?
Yeah.
Just a small, tiny amount better.
Yeah, that's a reference to the one I tried to play the week before that. Yeah. My new motto is play models that I currently have with me. And so I played a game with Shield. Actually, I gave Shield a second go around. I played them once and I played them again last week. I played a player who's only played like 2 or 3 games, and so I decided to crush him utterly. Who cares about his newness? I will make him rue the day he decided to play this game.
Yeah, Parker generally just tries to make people feel terrible about their decisions.
Yeah. But anyway, in that game, Brandon was watching and being a helpful angel on the shoulder of the newer player, and we were trying to play a really fair game, and we both forgot a bunch of crisis rules and stuff. So
Hmm.
it ended up being a big asterisk game. But
Well, the mistake I made early on is I assumed you were on board with trying to teach him the game. And it was very obvious after the first turn you were only there to win and get out as quick as you could. And so I started having to give him like actual like important advice instead of just be like, yeah, this is how this works. And Parker's like, let me show you how field dressing is broken. And I'm like, oh my god. Like,
I was also you're right. I was not. My intention was not to teach somebody a game. I did
Yeah.
not go into that. I will say that I was also picking a bunch of models that I didn't play in a faction I'd only played once, and so I was mostly just staring at all my cards, making sure I didn't forget something. I was doing that the most, but I was trying really hard not to forget something.
Yeah.
But that's that, and I didn't. We were both learning about models, and I was also I was playing Crises and things I'd never tried before, so it was going to be a learning game on both sides. And thank you for stepping in and helping. That was good. I would have struggled.
That
to
would
be
have
there
been
for him.
a fucking shit show if I wasn't there.
Yeah, but it was. I didn't. I wish I could tell you all these things I learned about Shield, but I didn't learn a whole lot about them other than, there. I did decide to do something cheeky, which is play Black Dwarf with the initiative card, and it actually did a bunch of really important things in the game. So,
Yeah.
I think Black Dwarf in that faction feels great, and I think the initiative card for him was actually completely worth it. And the more I ran through it in the other scenarios and games, if you're like, man, what kind of model would really like to be a member of Shield? I think Black Dwarf would really like to be a member of Shield because it worked really well.
Alrighty. Jeremy, what have you been playing lately?
Kind of a bunch of different things. Been messing with Dormammu again, messing with X-Men. I did a stint with Avengers. Just messing with things, essentially. Kind of waiting for new models to come out, so I'm not that inspired right now. Aside from, I'm like putting different tactics cards in and just seeing if anything interesting kind of pops up that wasn't so obvious, but just playing a lot of games, not necessarily specific games.
Okay. So I haven't played it all in the last week, even though I actually wanted to play last week. But this kind of is going to move us into our next topic. I wanted to know what you guys thought I should play if I'm trying to win. So I'm going to an event. Aaron, one of our locals, invited me to a festival in Omaha where we go to eat bugs. And I'm not one to shy away from a good festival, so that's what I'm doing. I'm going up there, and we're going to do that. But then I found out that it's actually a wargaming convention where we play Marvel Crisis Protocol. So now I need a list instead.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we're going to Bug Eater.
Oh, god dang it!
Did you not pick up on that at all?
No, I didn't at all.
Oh my god! No wonder you always fall for the jokes.
Yeah, I just totally forgot that was the name of that convention.
Yeah. Anyway, so I mean, it's believable, right? Because I went to that noodling festival in Oklahoma City. If you've ever been to a noodling festival, you would know there's no reason to go to a noodling festival.
You can noodle anywhere.
Yeah.
Who needs a festival?
So anyway, this is kind of... I'm more interested in trying to go and compete than I am trying to play anything specific. And I'm kind of in between lists right now. And so I was wondering if... We don't need to, like, build a list today, but I'm just curious what you guys think are, like, the top, like, go-to lists in the meta today. And so I figured that would be just an open conversation we could have.
Okay, well, I'll address the elephant in the room because Jeremy wants... Actually, I'm not going to steal it from you, Jeremy. Tell him the model that should be in his list.
Nope, won't do it.
Daredevil.
Okay, well then I'll tell you. It's Thanos. Thanos with the Mind Stone.
I prefer Thanos.
Thanos?
Thanos.
You should increase your Thanosity with having Thanos.
Jeremy's allowed to complain about models named Thanos, just not models named Thanos.
Yeah.
I don't know why he took up the don't badmouth Thanos position. Like, he's like a Thanos sympathizer.
Yeah, it's 100%. Thanos was right is his new hashtag. I don't think I don't think that you should probably ever go to an event right now where you really, really want to win and not have Thanos as a drop. To just say, you know what, I don't want to have to, play hard. I'm going to play Thanos.
So my go-to initially was going to be just play criminals, because I think criminals are hugely well placed in the meta right now, and for multiple reasons, not just the Kingpin list that we talked about that Aaron was playing for a while, because I think that was the most consistent, well-doing tournament list I've seen in a while, because it relies almost not at all on dice, and it extremely abuses specific missions. Now, the problem being that it takes up a lot of your roster slots, and I think when the meta adjusts to it, then you won't see a lot of non-pay-to-flip secures. And so if people are running pay-to-flips, it loses a lot of its teeth, and it's just good instead of crazy strong. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if we've gotten there yet, right? Like, I don't think the meta's there yet, which is why it was my initial thought. So I'm going to put criminals.
Don't you dare put Cabal. I was about to say, you take that back, you son of a bitch.
So criminals, parentheses, Kingpin is on the list. We also have just the Thanos in general.
The other obvious one is probably, I think it's obvious, but that's probably the reason why you don't do it, which is Web Warriors. But I think people have seen Web Warriors so much now. I think it actually, people know, or people have an idea. Once you get to the semifinal round, if you in first round, if you play against somebody that's like, I've never seen Spider-Man before, you're like, okay, well, watch this. But when you get to semifinal or near the final round, then you're going to see people who goes, okay, I've played so many Spider-Man before. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm actually at the point where I don't even think I want to play Web Warriors anymore. If I'm going to play Web Warriors, I'll just play unaffiliated, and I'll just not worry about taking the Web Warriors I don't want to take.
Right.
Because that's where I get to a lot. It's like, yeah, well, I love Gwen, I love Peter, but I'm not really a huge fan of Miles. I actually think he's kind of a liability, because a lot of the Web Warrior games, you're trying to win by turn 3, and Miles doesn't do a lot before turn 3. He's really a late game piece.
Right.
So I just don't feel I need him. The reroll is great. Obviously, I like the leadership. It's not a bad thing. But I end up taking Venom a lot of the time, and I like Venom, but for a 4-point model, it could be Black Panther, it could be other things. Like, there's other options that aren't him. And so if I replace Miles with Shuri and Venom with Black Panther, then all of a sudden, my list is very close to something else.
Right.
And so I don't even need to worry about it. I also have been theoretically trying to squeeze in Thanos to a Web Warriors roster and say, well, if I'm cutting those two, Thanos is making up the difference easily.
Yeah.
To get back to where I was, if not do even different things.
Yeah.
Jeremy, is this upsetting you? You look frustrated.
No, I am.
Okay.
My initial go-to was, particularly with you, because you like all the models, is Brotherhood.
I just play them at a lot of. I've played them a ton, and so it's more that. It's not that I don't want to play Brotherhood. It's just that I've done that a lot. Like, most of my tournament experiences have been playing Brotherhood, so I'm kind of not in a hurry to do that again. Not that I don't want to.
Yeah, I kind of cringe with the idea of Web Warriors, because they can accidentally just get murdered.
That's true, especially without the leadership. If I want to be Froggy, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, Brotherhood doesn't suffer from that. But you can take Juggernaut anywhere, actually, so it doesn't.
So, just talking about playing good, strong, generic rosters, my next thought on the list is Sam Avengers.
Having played them recently, they're so strong, and they're just so generic, and they're just so, like, you have the name brand, and then you have Sam Avengers. Like, there's just, like, so many guys that have all the same kind of thing, and just to chew through all of them can definitely be a chore.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can really have too many accidents. Like, I feel like if you kind of lose with Sam, it's kind of because you screwed up somewhere along the game plan.
Yeah, you probably it's like a slow burn, though. It's like not one big mistake, right? Because they're very forgiving. It's more like you've repeatedly prioritized the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Or your overall game plan was probably not what it should have been, because you didn't understand the matchup the way you probably should have. So I'm not saying they're unbeatable or anything, but they're just very forgiving and consistent. And sometimes when you're going to a 4 or 5 round event, consistency is more important than power. because you just need to not do bad once, and you'll probably be okay if you can play out of a hole.
I think one of the main things to look out for, or you want to have in your list, or whatever, would be good ways to deal with like a Hulk, because Hulk can like single-handedly just screw you all up.
Right.
And even Wakanda, even though you don't see it much, but a decent Wakanda player can kind of run a train on a lot of shit. Just with the simple pushes, like, can be a complete nightmare. So size 4s are a big deal. Like, what are you leaning towards? Like, what do you
I have
want to
no
do
preconception. My fallback plan was just play criminals.
Yeah, every time I play criminals, they're just not very much fun. They just never feel very fun.
Well, he said
definitely not
he didn't
overly
say
dynamic.
He didn't say I'm really excited to go play a bunch of fun lists at this tournament. He's like, how do I
like
win?
I was playing. If I wanted to just go play silliness, I would play my bad order. That is just bad, but like I think it's fun. So
honestly, Brandon, if I were you, I would play Sam Avengers. If I were you, and it's the reason why is you have played Sam Avengers a lot.
I played them in like 5 games. It was not that many.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I felt like, and maybe you had more room to grow, and I didn't see it because I saw. Maybe I was watching a novice, and that's how impressive that faction is. But when I was playing against them with you, I did not feel like I could do anything. I was like, oh shit, well, if I kill him, then I lose. If I kill him, then I
feels
lose.
smothering.
If I kill him, then I lose. And that is not, and I have played against Sam Avengers before and not felt that way at all. I was just like, oh, bunch of little dudes, I'll just kill them all. But when I was playing against you, you put them in such a situation that I was not I was never going to have the advantage, because even if I tried to take it, you were going to get something for it every time. And I think if you really wanted to win, you'd play Sam Avengers and have Doc Voodoo in there also to just be like, fuck your whatever it is. So somebody drops somebody, like if somebody plays something like what you were doing, which is Thanos and Hulk, or Hulk wants to go take the middle point on Gamma. You're like, no, Hulk doesn't exist. Here's your 6 points of I don't give a shit. He doesn't exist. Like. That kind of thing is super important if you just want to win games.
Go and daze your 1.5 characters, and I'll deal with it later.
Right, and I think Sam Avengers and Doc Voodoo as a drop-in is a really, really, really good Avengers list, and I think you can almost just go straight Avengers, and you'll really surprise people. I think you'll surprise people with Ant-Man and characters. I think people most likely people know things like Luke Cage, but I know you would hate her, but I think Miss Marvel would be great in it because she's going to let you.
Oh yeah, she'd be amazing. The Miss Marvel is good. I just hate her.
But I think if you bit some bullets and you said I'm going to play Doc Voodoo and Miss Marvel, and I don't even know if I'd play War Machine anymore. I know he's a DR character for the list, but he's just dice and he doesn't do anything else. I feel like he doesn't have a. He's
like the sacrificial piece. He's the guy you put in the middle of the board and say deal with him, and then. If he's the guy in range, he generally gets attacked first.
That's true. So War Machine's there, maybe. I think Hood...
And he also, can, in the right situations, he is your damage dealer. Like, you just empty the clip twice, and you're like, I'm willing to die to kill you. I don't care.
Right.
And so you can just put 16 or 20 dice into somebody randomly.
Right. But I think Hood probably goes in there also because he's just so great in a lot of ways, and... He does a bunch of things that list doesn't do, like Mystic Attacks and heals, and letting him move and heal one just feels dumb because he just barely dies almost every time. So that seems really good. I think if I were you and I was going to go do this, I would play Sam Wilson Avengers, and I think you would really enjoy that because you really don't. One of your favorite factions to play, the War Machine was. What was his name? The guy in the machine god
Tarchov.
faction.
Axis.
What's that?
Axis.
You love playing Axis, and I feel like
serious.
Yeah, I feel like Sam Wilson is the Axis of this game, right?
I mean, something about necromantic robots just speaks to me,
right?
That's besides the point. He also was like the Pound Town list. What do you do? I send giant robots to kill people, and you're like. Yeah. I can get behind that.
Yeah,
it's pretty easy.
Yeah, but I think Avengers feels like that. But unlike that game, where a lot of those guys are very generic. In this one, so many of them have tons of options, like Jeremy was alluding to. So I mean, Ant-Man. I don't want to. You said you don't have to make your list right now, but I think almost all of them are Avengers.
I'm fine if we want to, like if that's what we settle on.
I was gonna say, I think almost all of them are Avengers, except for probably things like really premium mercs like Hood, maybe Shuri, maybe not, but maybe Shuri.
I think
it feels really, really good to just do super premium 3s and the best Avenger 3s plus Doc Voodoo, and put 1-2 in there, maybe 2-2s in there, and call it good. Go.
Jeremy, what are you trying to say?
I think a Sam Wilson Avengers takes you to a 2-2. I think you win 2, lose 2.
Really?
Think so?
Yeah.
You think they're consistently mediocre?
I think they're consistently midline. I think that you get waxed by something that hits harder than you. I don't think that you have practiced it enough to know every stupid trick that it's going to take when you need it to actually win those crazy games. I think
when it comes to that, I feel comfortable that I know all of the models that I would be playing.
Correct.
Very well. Because I play the models, I just don't play them together necessarily.
I think to win, I honestly think the same as I've thought the first time I played against Aaron's Criminals. That's the strongest list. That criminal list with all the little dudes in the number of models, seven fucking criminals at 20 points or whatever is absurd.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
And the alternate for that, and I mean, granted, very few people have played with it, at least at our shop, aside from, I mean, Parker played it a little bit, but Daredevil Criminals is not a joke either.
Yeah, I know. I don't have it like built and ready.
Yeah.
I haven't even assembled my Daredevil yet.
So the alternate to that, whatever, I mean, if someone tries to go weird or has all pay to flips, cool. Thanos comes out. And you put a couple models that you want to play. It doesn't matter. I mean, it could be Black Order. Fuck it.
Yeah, the problem I have with specifically the pay-to-flip issue is that the Kingpin list that I was planning on playing eats up a lot of the character slots. And so there's not really an alternate list that you can add in. But we could talk about it.
You don't have a spot for Thanos? That's not...
Yeah, like you could squeeze 1 or 2 guys in, but like what are you playing then? You're playing Thanos, Kingpin, and 1 guy? Like that's not really a list.
No, that's not what you're trying to do.
So I talked with Aaron a little bit about this on Monday. And we agreed that at 17 points, Thanos, Kingpin, Bullseye, and Black Cat is a problem.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it is. Because I don't know what you do, right? Like you can't just go kill Thanos because he's in the back, right? Like if you can get some damage on him probably, but getting him dead seems real hard.
Sure.
While simultaneously not losing.
Yeah, all of those things are true.
Because you're giving up 2.5 models for Thanos, but the thing is, like, his control becomes so much more potent when he doesn't have to clear points. He only needs to reduce the numbers.
Right.
And but again, I haven't played Criminals in a long time, so
if I were to go to somewhere, and I mean I've been digging X-Men a lot. They give you all the movement, all the placement, and then again, X-Men, and then you throw Thanos in there as a drop, and it's actually a solid list. It's not just a jokey type, oh, Thanos is here too to go. No. It's Thanos with X-Men, which is even better. That's better Thanos. Because no one's within range and he gets his cover and all that shit. And he lives forever. Like, it's pretty darn good. That's what I would take to a tournament tomorrow if I was going. That's what I would have taken.
X-Men with Thanos?
Yep. I feel very comfortable with all of that. Like, and you'd have Thanos, and I'd probably put in Juggernaut as my other big guy. And the rest of it is just standard issue X-Men that everybody's playing. Like, it's just really good stuff.
Yeah, I like the just baseline X-Men. They're really good against a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah, most of those 3-pointers are solid.
The second and third wave of mutants really helped them.
Mm-hmm. And free movement, I mean, it's so hard to beat that as a leadership. And cover, really, like Storm's leadership is just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember Ominous made fun of us because we said X-Men were bad on the podcast. But at the time when we said it, like, X-Men were just running down the middle into Brotherhood and getting deleted. Like, it didn't matter because they didn't have any of their, core holding pieces right now. Right now, I think they're awesome.
No, X-Men have X-23. Like, that happened. We're in a world now where they've got a model that hits as hard or harder than...
Well, because it went from they have no good 2s and 3s to they have all the good 2s and 3s.
For sure.
Because they've got X-23, Honey Badger, and Domino now.
Mm-hmm.
And then potentially even Magic. Like, there's a lot of good
it's crazy.
Pointers. All right, so the core of the criminal list I'm looking at is Kingpin, Black Cat, Bullseye, which is the obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Then you throw in Hood and Winter Soldier to get to your maximum potential.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm looking at Ant-Man, Black Widow.
I think you've built the list. I think that's the...
Mm-hmm. So there's 3 character slots left.
So, you know that the criminal problem then is pay to flips, right? Like, you're talking, okay, so what shores that up? Like you said, Thanos is probably the key there to unlock all that garbage. Like, okay, go tall or whatever and play pay to flips. Okay, we'll see what happens.
Well, he doesn't help you with, like, as he's also weaker on the pay to flips because he can't just clear the whole board. Like, he can clear it and allow his guys to take it, but I mean, they still have to go take it, so his impact is reduced.
What do you think about like a Hulkbuster on pay to flips? Those are really good.
Yeah, Hulkbuster's good on pay to flips because he can potentially bully people off points and has good stats to try and roll them over.
And he can move back on top of them, right? Like, that's his stick. He pushes you off and then moves.
Yeah, hit and run. Yeah. I mean, it's good in general, but a 6-pointer is generally going to be good on individual points.
Yeah.
Is Black Panther in there already?
He's not, but I don't really plan on taking a 4-pointer. Like, the 4-pointer I would probably take would be Voodoo. Mm-hmm. But, you know, Black Panther would be fine.
I was thinking specifically on the pay to flips. Isn't he strong on pay to flips? It feels like he would be.
He is good. Well, he's good on pay to flips. He's not the best because he's only... Well, I guess there's... You really want 4 energy defense people, and he's only 4 physical.
Do you really care about that one die that much, though?
It makes it a lot more consistent. It's still pretty likely. The thing about 4 energy defense people is they're good at taking it from a single person.
Yeah.
Not just coin flipping a single person.
Well, wouldn't that be... Well, it sounds to me like if we're willing to spend a lot of points and you want to get energy defense, that's She-Hulk, right?
No, 6 points is not 4 points. Like, it's not comparable in my opinion. Like,
you said
Storm would be an example.
Okay, well,
someone you could add in if you're only worried about pay to flips. Storm is very attractive. She's a 4 energy defense person, and if I'm already running Winter Soldier, it's not impossible to say I could just hybrid X-Men in here.
I think X-Men, I think the problem with X-Men going in there is they kind of like the same things that criminals do, but criminals do it way better. Mm-hmm. Like, they kind of like feed on the same prey. Like, as in, they like the B's and the F's, and they like all those too. Yeah.
Also, the kind of the concept here is that if you want to go super wide, I could also throw in, we could go a maximum wide, I could just throw in Toad. And we're just not ever going to play a 4-pointer.
Mm-hmm. Could be. I mean, you're going to...
Because, like, Toad, Ghost Spider, Shuri fits real well in here, too.
I like that. Because depending on what your opponent has available, I mean, Shuri can own the board for you. Just depending.
She's a big anchor. Ghost Spider also helps with saving the people that have objectives. And just keeping particular people healthy. And then obviously Toad means you have 3 2s, and so your core is 9. If you're throwing in 2 more 3s, you're at 13. So at 16 points, you have 6 people, 3 2s, 2 3s, and a 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty silly.
Is there a planet where you play Shadowlands Daredevil and never even plan to use his leadership? You want the ninja to be able to manipulate extracts, and he himself is tough to remove. And just
how does he manipulate extracts better than 2 2-pointers? He is certainly better at attrition. Like, there's no question.
Okay,
but like, I would consider Shadowlands Daredevil over some 4-pointers. But if you're doing that build, I don't think you're ever going to play a 4-pointer.
Yeah.
But if you're in the conversation to talking about 4-pointers, then yeah, I think he's fine. So what is the no 4-pointer list bad against?
I mean, you have to win before X-Men kill all your models. I think you can, potentially.
Do X-Men kill all your models?
I don't know if X-Men kill all your models. It's going to be really good dice. Because they don't fix
like a bunch of 2s.
Yeah, like the problem with X-23, she's capped at 3 attacks. Like, yeah, sure, she's gonna berserk every other turn, if not every turn. But yeah, you just keep attacking her. She's 3s.
Brotherhood. I think that's the only problem. Is can
Brotherhood
you keep
would be an issue, but I think you just beat Brotherhood on points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are they gonna kill that many people?
I mean, they don't have to kill them; they just turn them over, right? You just daze them, and they're not half as
Yeah,
good.
but I mean, they have to turn them. But I can still just I still have board manipulation, right? I still have extracts. And I still am just wider than they are. Like, they still have to stand on points. And yeah, I'll probably never daze Magneto, but I don't need to daze Magneto. I just need to daze other people.
If you're nervous and you want a 3-pointers or low point guys for flipping extracts, consider Baron Mordo. He's got 4 energy defense. He's got.
I didn't even think about him. He's
got a push in the wild, a medium base, and he has the vaulting boots. So after the character is pushed, he can immediately for 2 power just go right back on. He's
that is interesting. I've never even considered him.
He
also, as an action, gains power.
Yep, you just sit there and gain power if nobody comes.
Got a range 4 attack that also builds.
Also, Burning Rain is not terrible if they just let him sit there gaining power. He can Reigns of Ragador. Range 4 also. Also, he's a medium base with range 4, so he can touch if you have like a really spread out one, like a D to secure. He can hit somebody from really far away with a medium base.
Yeah.
He's not low health. He's 6'5".
He also just has a push on his basic.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Yeah, he's actually kind of interesting.
I don't know when you'd ever get to Soul Barb, but if you wanted to for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know if he makes the cut on non-affiliated 3s.
It's hard to beat Iron Man in Criminals for non-affiliated. That dude.
I don't even have Iron Man in my roster.
Really? Oof.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Like, I don't know who he cuts out. Winter Soldier is needed for the Rogue Agent.
Yeah.
Hood is affiliated. Black Cat's affiliated. So he's competing with Ant-Man and Shuri. Ant-Man is needed to take their back points.
Yeah.
Because he's fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
A speed longer can also do it. Ant-Man's just a little bit faster.
Oh, I'm with you on Ant-Man. You don't have to sell me on him. I've seen it too many times.
He is so good at just standing on things.
Yeah, the problem I have with Iron Man, like, obviously he pushes big guys, which is great, but it's also on a wild, and it's not with Cap's leadership, so he's actually gets a little power hungry sometimes. Mm-hmm. He is good, but I don't know. I think Shuri's just better if you're talking about not-affiliateds.
Also, you're not your defense.
The list is not really worried about Thanos, right? Because it just has too many models for him to control.
No, it doesn't care about that.
Everything
I think so.
Yeah, I was going to say Iron Fist could be an interesting drop just to make Thanos busy, but he can't do enough, I guess.
Worst case, you just stagger him. I mean, you've got Black Cat to just fuck with him. Like, what's he going to waste time on Black Cat?
That's right, Black Cat.
If there's nothing to grab, I mean, why not? You just okay. It's not a fair fight at all. It's so bad.
I feel like Jeremy's underrating the Sam list, but
whichever one is more fun. I mean, honestly, you don't want to be just bored out of your mind doing the shit because. Mm-hmm. He doesn't even fight. Like, criminals don't even punch. They just sit there, That's what they do.
Oh, here's another one you hate, but she has 4 energy defense, is Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she's good at everything because they pushed the model, but, like, yeah. I just hate the character.
But if you're going there to be competitive, I think she's probably a good criminal.
I'm not going to put her in any of my lists, so...
Okay. I think you'd be a fool if you didn't put her in Avengers, but okay.
I haven't built the model yet. I don't plan on ever building the model.
Okay. You showed me.
Yep. I'm just saying, like, just so we could save time.
Okay.
Like, there's the pointless conversation was what my point was.
Got it.
So, if you had to choose, it sounds like you would rather choose Sam Avengers.
I'm just saying that I think you underrated them. I think I would be fine playing either one.
Yeah.
The only thing about the criminals list is it feels like, you're kind of at the, like, if you lose all 5 priority rolls in a tournament, I think you could go 3-2, like, pretty easily, because on the wrong missions, they are not good. They're not exceptional, and they can get trapped into fighting a game they don't want to fight, which is what I think is their, like, the thing that reins them in, which is good. I mean, it's good that they're not just, like, running all over the fucking place, but at the same time, it kind of sucks because, you're bringing a lottery list, just like the Mystic Herbs list. Like, when you bring the list that auto wins on Mystic Herbs, you're like, okay, sure, if you get the 1 in 4 chance for that to actually line up, yeah, you win the game. But when it happens in the finals, man, it really sucks.
Yeah, I would say that you're right there. Sure. I mean, playing on Demons Downtown and you're like, oh fuck. Like, what do you...
Yeah.
You're going to get yourself murdered. Or even herbs without an herb play, like, you can't even do, like, depending on what the mission is. I agree. I think Sam it can win everything, and I just
mostly it's just that I don't think Sam has a bad matchup.
Correct. I agree.
He might not have, like, the I auto win matchups. Like, I think he actually does really well in the Brotherhood, but just in general, I don't know that he has a, like, I win this. But I think he's like a 55-45 in most games he plays.
I'd probably agree with that. But I think...
As where I think criminals are like an 80-20, depending on the missions.
Depending on the missions and also depending on your opponent. Like, I'm telling you, it's pull the rug out. Like, somebody's kneeling behind them.
Yeah, there's definitely the people that haven't played criminals before that are, like, just trying to win on points and have no idea, like, the speed at which the game happens.
7-1. You're like, oh no.
Yeah. And you're just like, well, this game's over. Like, it's like, I'm going to win next turn. You're like, fuck me. It's like, how am I supposed to daze people? Like, they're just running away from me.
And I think for a competitive tournament, like, sometimes having a list like Criminals, being able to snatch up the free wins, because some of them are free. Like, you're just like, oh god, you just take it. It gets you out of that random handful of dice rolls that just kind of fuck you. And you get to dodge that at least a couple times. But it's way less fun. Sam's going to be way more fun.
So earlier I said, let's just put in Toad, Shuri, and Ghost Spider. Do you need Ghost Spider? Does she ever actually get played? So I'm looking at the points, and let's say 20 points, right? Kingpin, Black Cat, Bullseye. That's 3. So if we're going to 7 models, we need 4. So either Winter Soldier or Hood, which I would imagine probably Winter Soldier.
You need someone for the back, yeah. And who can do stuff.
Yeah, because he's a range 5, and he actually has retaliation if they start dazing you. So that's 4 models, and that puts you at 9, 10, 11, 12. And then the 2 more 3s put you at 16.
I think the 2-point Natasha is worth it.
I don't think it matters. It's weird because I don't have, like, an interactive list builder here, but
I don't think Ghost Spider makes it.
I don't think she does.
That's too many that aren't just running around.
I don't even think Hood makes it.
Even
I
as
think
criminal?
Ant-Man gets taken over Hood, doesn't he?
Yes.
Probably, if you don't worry about affiliation.
The only reason not to is that you just wanted to heal Kingpin real bad, but I don't think that's that relevant. All right, so deleting him, I think Shuri has an argument to get played. So if we're just taking everyone down the lines, it's Kingpin, Black Cat, Bullseye, Winter Soldier, Ant-Man, Black Widow, Toad is 9, 12, 15, 17, 19.
I don't...
At 20, Toad could upgrade to Shuri.
Since you guys know this more than I do, I just had a quick question. Is the fact that Deadpool counts as healthy on his backside not enough reason to take him? I'm not.
I don't think it is, because he's not fast enough, and he tends to get ignored for that exact reason.
Okay.
Because the only time he'll ever get attacked is when you get the free days, because he's only got 4 hit points. And then he won't contest that turn, and then they'll ignore him for the rest of the game.
Got it. Okay.
And so he only gets to fight on the turns that he doesn't matter. And honestly, I think your goal is the game is decided by turn 3. maybe not over, like you're just finishing it out, but in that case, Deadpool didn't really do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather have someone who's going to influence the board.
Yep, I'm 100% with you. Gotcha.
So in this situation, I have 2 character slots left because I think I can build a healthy choice up to 20 points at every point option. So at 20, I'm taking everyone but Toad probably. And at 18, I'm taking Toad over Shuri or Ant-Man, depending on the list. And yeah, going down from there should be easy. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. 4 affiliated, maximum 7. Okay, so I've got 2 character slots left. So if we wanted to do that transformative list we talked about, what would it be? Like if we wanted to throw in like the Black Order package, right? We can only do it with 2 slots, but
I think in the list that you've got going on, depending on what's kind of happening, would Voodoo and then Thanos be good? I feel like Voodoo is a hard check on a lot of things, and Thanos is also a hard check. Like, they can't discount that you're not going to drop that.
Yeah. Alternatively, I could also do like Juggernaut Thanos.
That's true.
Just to have the annoying model that you can't really move in the right matchup.
And if Herbs gets played on you, you've got a really good play. Well, I mean, Criminals has the best play anyway, right? Like, they can just huck it.
Yeah. If you have a bunch of people that produce a lot of power, yeah, you can just like fucking conga line that shit across the board.
Yeah, you're scoring it on 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Aside from a bad scenario, I don't know what's supposed to scare you. Like, because you don't worry about dice. That's not the point. You worry about where you stand. I mean, a bad table setup with like a bunch of like built size buildings or something. I don't know. Because you don't rely on throwing guys, so you don't worry about size 4s. Who cares? You're not worried about pushing.
Yeah.
I think as long as you can win before Hulk kills everybody, a model like that, I think you can.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people are a little too high on Hulk a lot of the time. Because, like, at least I've had my Hulk go in and just be like, man, like, where are you getting the damage from? Because, like, rolling 7 dice is not killing people in one hit.
No. I think with him, he gets scary to me because he'll leap where he needs to be and then beat on 2 people and throw someone into somebody else, which then the next turn you're going to be dazed. 2 models probably. Like, that's where it scares me. Not that he's just acing everybody, but he's got a big enough impact that he can start wrecking whole sides of the board. But then, I mean, maybe that's when you put Juggernaut in with Do You Know Who I Am? And, like, just fucking throw his stupid ass. You can do stuff like that without having to spend 8 points for Thanos to deal with it, I guess. So, I mean, if you see, like, an Avengers list with a Hulk in it, and you get a bad scenario matchup, I think you need an option there.
So I'm using Crit Wild to build the list, and it only has one bug that I found, and it's characters with Infinity Stones will randomly delete themselves from your roster.
Well, if you delete one, the others all delete. For some reason, they're like tied to each other.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the code. It's really annoying because like if I deleted Doc Voodoo from the list and Thanos went with them, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So do you think that Juggernaut is better than Voodoo in the criminal list?
Yeah.
Because you're giving up a 3 and a 2 to take Juggernaut versus Voodoo's just 2 2s. I feel like Voodoo can make up for not being 2 people. Juggernaut's hard to not make up to make up for being 2 people when one of them's a 3-pointer. But I doubt I'd play Voodoo anyway, so.
I think that's the key. You probably aren't going to play him anyway. I mean, I think you can look at a table and see your matchup and kind of say, this is definitely a Juggernaut This is a Juggernaut game where I need him. Mm-hmm. And then on the other hand, you go, I don't need him. Where Voodoo is like, he's always good, right? And you're like, maybe not.
I feel confident that I could just do Corvus Glaive Thanos and do basically what that list does and just throw in the other random board control models I have to try and keep me clean for as long as possible.
Yeah. Is there a 3 you could replace and put Proxima in there for a hard, like, gear check?
I mean, you could replace Ant-Man or Shuri with Proxima. It's just not the same. Like, if we were replacing Zemo, I'd be there with you, but I don't think she... Yeah, the argument is replace Ant-Man, right?
No, I think the argument is replace Shuri because Ant-Man is affiliated.
He's not affiliated.
Is he not?
No.
He's not a criminal? He's a criminal in the fucking movies.
We've done this so many times.
He's a criminal in the movies. He gets on house arrest.
Did you really think he was affiliated?
I thought he was.
No.
He's not. No.
Oh.
God damn it. People at home, do you see what I have to deal with?
It's difficult for even me.
All right, is there any list that we're forgetting before we make our final decision here?
I think you
should
play Sam Avengers.
You think I should play Sam Avengers?
Mostly because I think we know that as long as your opponent... Well, I guess here's the thing. If you want to talk about like probability in a tournament, what's the probability that you will always feel good about the blue scenario? Because it's almost always blue. They have a little play with some
That's
reds.
the thing. That's my big hesitancy, is that I don't care what I play against when I bring Sam, and I care what I play against when I bring criminals. Yeah. And so I'm tempted to build both rosters and then take them both with me, and then I'll kind of like scope it out the day before, because there's a Friday warm-up tournament. Kind of get an idea what people are playing, and if like, oh, no one's playing pay to flips, we're playing criminals. Like, I'll just decide Friday, I think is the plan.
Yeah.
All right, so real quick, let's throw this together, and I can tinker with it later if I really want. Thanos for sure in the criminals. What's the other character? Do you guys leaning heavily one way or the other? I would like to bring Proxima just because she's painted nice, and like my whole Black Order looks really good together, I think. But I don't think it's super important.
I would like to see Proxima, honestly.
You think she's better than Ant-Man? Or are you still saying don't take Shuri?
It doesn't... I don't know. I feel like you need Ant-Man for the tricks, right? He does the thing you want to do with criminals. Where... Well, she's a long mover. She can do it too, right? Like, it's the same difference.
It's possible, yeah. It's less good, but decent. She's an attrition-based fast model. That's 3 points.
She also teleports kind of with a range attack, so you can go pretty... You don't have
she
to
can
just
get
twice.
Pretty much wherever she wants to go. The problem that you'll run into with criminals with that logic, Parker, is on the pay to flips, you got to be the first one there. Because if you're coming in later, it sucks.
Yeah.
So she'd probably be double moving and checking one of their points on the first turn, which she's about as good as Ant-Man at doing that, because Ant-Man's got the reroll defense, she has DR. It's pretty similar. Mm-hmm. But on the not pay to flips, it really doesn't matter. They're similar enough. I've always said that Proxima is criminally underrated. I agree. A solo 3-pointer. Yeah. If they released another 3-point model that was speed long, had DR and Pierce on a 5-die attack, you'd be like, why the fuck did they do this? But the model's been out for like 2 years.
Right. She looks a lot like X-23. Like a lot.
Yeah. It's really crazy. Mm-hmm. And she's a speed long model with a range 3 charge attack. Like, holy crap.
Oh, and she has martial discipline, which is not nothing.
Prowess, but yeah.
Sorry, prowess, yeah.
So you think I should do the Black Order package?
I think that if you do the Black Order package, you get yourself a leg up for free. I mean, people have to then put in sacrifice. They then have to put in special cards that if you go criminals, who gives a shit? They wasted all their tactic spots, at least 1 or 2 of them.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's what
it's happened to me.
Yep, that's... I got 2 games at that tournament. One of the tournaments I won because I was playing Guardians / the 3 Black Order members.
And someone was just so terrified of Black Order they didn't do it.
It happened twice.
Me.
2 really good players.
It happened to fucking me.
Jeremy and Aaron both ran into that. They went, oh no, he's going to play Kingpin. And I went, nope. Haha, joke's on you. It's Guardians.
Alright, I'll do it. I'll throw it in. Proxima, Corvus,
Reality Stone,
Thanos.
Also, they might oblige you and, play 16 points on Gamma or something. You're like, ho, here we go.
So, Ant-Man or Shuri? I really like Ant-Man and Criminals. I think it's like my identity. But if I'm doing Black Order, I want to have the Shuri, I think. So I think I'm going to drop Ant-Man. Oh, and specifically for the Crit Wild bug, it's only if they have Infinity Stones attached.
Yep.
It seems to be. It's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is if you accidentally swipe wrong and delete somebody, it fucks your whole list. You have to start over.
There it is, yeah.
All right, Mind Stone and Space Stone. But other than that, I like the app so far. Okay, so that's going to take us to Team Tactics cards. So we want criminal cards first. They have some pretty cool search functions on here, actually. We want Shadow Organization. Do we want all according to plan? Do you think that's worth it? Probably not.
I don't think you care about that.
Yeah, I don't think I do either.
No, I don't think you'll never. I don't think you'll ever be really excited for it.
Then Black Order, Mothership, and then filter. Clear all. Limit to included characters. Oh, I thought I had a lot more than that. I guess not. Cool. All right, so we've got Medpack field dressing, probably.
Yep.
I don't think with this combination, I don't even think it's even a question, really.
Nope.
Indomitable makes sense.
Yeah, obviously. And then after that, we go to the other required includes climbing gear is actually more important for criminals, and then Indomitable, which is almost as important.
Mothership makes sense. Probably the one card you want for them.
Yeah. So I've already got one exclusive for each. Medpack, field dressing, climbing gear, Indomitable. Now we're down to I have 6 of my 10. Character specific ones I'm not playing. There's nothing I can think of. I could play Cruelty. It's not overly important.
I do think that what was I saying before? Sacrifice. That's a really good card.
I was going to put in Disarm, actually.
Okay. That's good for criminals.
Yeah. And I think it's good for Black Order, too. It costs them almost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, Hulk's here. Shut up. You think Sacrifice. What about Escort to Safety, then? It basically just turns anyone into Ghost Spider once.
It's not bad.
It would only be good for the criminal side, not for the other one, obviously. Yeah, I'll throw in Sacrifice.
I mean, at this point, you're kind of switching in and out for, like, a card, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I still have 2 slots. This is so weird.
Tactical Analysis is really good.
You
put your criminals right back on their spots.
Yeah, but you have to play it with another person. It does only cost 2, though.
Yeah. And again, most of these you're not going to use.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking, I want some spiciness. Just trying to think about, like, what about Marked for Death or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe Recal.
You mean
Grievous Wounds actually isn't terrible if you're going to bother to play the Black Order package.
Yeah. I think I like Mark for Death better, being that Corvus doesn't like to fuck around with all that shenanigan defense stuff. It's nice when you can just cut their head off.
Alright, so currently I'm looking at Shadow Organization, Mothership, Field Dressing, Medpack, Climbing Gear, Indomitable, Disarm, Sacrifice, Grievous Wounds, and Marked for Death.
Are we missing anything? I don't think we're missing anything. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I'll have to go through and mess with it a bit. Alright, now the important thing is the missions. So Blues first.
7 sexy scoundrels.
Sinisterly with their sinisterness.
Yeah.
It's also a 20-point mission. Like, well, who the fuck designed
this? It's totally dumb.
This mission needs to be banned so fast.
Yeah. Oh, that seems fine.
How has this card lasted longer than Hired Muscle? Like, that, I don't understand. All right, Superpowered Scoundrels. Next up, probably Mayor Fisk and Terrigen.
Really? I thought it would be wouldn't it be... Because you're trying to go wide, right?
Extremis is also good. Well,
Extremis is the one I was going to say.
So the thing is that I like them because I only have to fight over 2 points. And so if you actually... I'm thinking of from the prospect also that I'm playing Black Order as the alternate. If I'm playing Black Order as the alternate, I can't hold for 2
there
points,
you go.
Right?
Yeah, you're...
yeah. But if you look at the movable secures, the thing about them is they're each worth 2, and so I can... How do I put this? It's securing one of them is just as good as securing 2, but grouping all of your criminals up, I think, makes them an insurmountable, overwhelming force, right? Because you can't just get lucky on one of the points and daze a guy and swing the numbers and tie it. You have to daze 3 people to do that. And so it's... The problem is that it also makes you more vulnerable to, like, really powerful control pieces like Thanos and Hulkbuster. It's like, if you're running against Thanos and Hulkbuster, then it's worse because you're all grouped up. But... I think because I'm also doing Black Order, it's kind of a bit of both. Also, I like 20 points, so...
Yeah.
Okay, and then next is the Extracts, which is...
Research. You want Researcher.
Do I?
Black Order and
Yeah,
Criminals
probably.
like it.
That's true.
Yerp.
Cubes and spiders. Why
I
not?
think spiders. I don't like cubes personally, but
You
it
don't
does
like getting
accelerate
hurt?
the game.
But I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's probably
you're
probably
winning.
fine. Yeah, I know. I just have to talk myself into it sometimes. All right, so this roster's done. Now let's slam this Sam Avengers list real quick. This will be super easy though. So the 5 Avengers I've already added in are Sam Wilson, Ant-Man, Iron Man, Luke Cage, and War Machine. Is there any Avengers I'm missing?
Is Quicksilver an Avenger?
Yep.
Yes. Personally, I also really like Toad and Bob in Sam.
Yes, Bob is great in Sam.
Toad's also just the best stats for a 2-pointer. Honestly, I mean, you could just put in Rocket too and just say fuck it. Like, I don't know. This list is so good. X-23 and Honey Badger.
That's how I was running it the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Did you already put Hood in there? Hood is a great drop, I think.
Oh yeah, also Hood. Oh, I'm still filtered.
I mean, both Black Widows are good, right?
I didn't put them in because I don't think you needed. If anything, I would play the 3-point Widow, but there's just so many good 3s that I don't think she makes the cut.
Okay.
Because the 2-point Widow is not really an attrition piece; she's a scenario piece, and while you're trying to do well on scenario through sheer force of numbers, you're not really trying to play scenario, in my opinion, with this list. So my thrown together 10 models right now is Ant-Man, Sam, Iron Man, Luke Cage, War Machine, Bob, Toad, Honey Badger, X-23, and Hood. Team Tactics cards. Got Avengers Assemble. Poop.
Heroes for Hire.
Yeah, I'm sorting now. Here we go. Heroes for Hire. Hood's Gang.
I mean, you have a lot of attacks. That's kind of when Hood's Gang gets good. Is you get a lot of stuff to do with it.
Yeah.
If you think you can get a lot of things out of it, which you probably can.
So the next question is Bird of Prey worth it? Sam Wilson targets an enemy character that has flight.
It's not.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Well, you only put it in when you're playing someone like Magneto or Doctor Strange.
I've had it a few times. I've never been able to use it. It never works out. It doesn't mean it's not great.
I'll circle back.
I'm gonna recommend my hot take is Bitter Rivals.
Yeah, I like Bitter Rivals.
Mm.
Oh, but it's restricted now.
Yeah, Bitter Rivals and Field Dressing is the 2 that I like with them.
You don't like Medpack? You got a lot of beefy guys.
You do, but all of them are kind of equally beefy. And, like, if you don't want them to die, you do have Honey Badger in there to jam on them. Like, you can kind of control where damage is going. I like Bitter Rivals because it gives you that wad of guys that are just kind of like, you're not doing anything this turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then they actually can hit things.
I think Bitter Rivals probably gets better as the tournament goes on, because people are probably going to be playing more characters. It really sucks whenever you see a bunch of 3-character rosters and 4-character rosters, but I think you probably start to see more characters as you go, probably. Or do you think when people see Sam, do they go, okay, I need to play a couple really big guys, or do you think they say, I need to play a bunch? That's some high-level stuff, right? What do you think people are going to want to do against Sam?
I think they're going to go pretty wide against me.
Then I think Bitter Rivals feels great.
That's fair. All right, moving on. I actually don't think you need Climbing Gear and Indomitable. You probably skip Climbing Gear because you've got Avengers Assemble.
True.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Indomitable is still important. It's like a pseudo brace a lot of the time as well.
Mm-hmm. Disarmed is just as good.
It's true. Disarm. Marked for Death is super good in this list because there's a lot of people that like defense mods can really slow you down. So I got 2 slots left.
Do you think you're ever? I was gonna say nobody really gains a ton of power, I guess, to their backside, but
I'm thinking.
Follow me.
Oh my god! I can't believe I forgot somebody. We're gonna have to change the character roster real quick. But while we're on the topic,
Follow Me was the one I said. I don't know if you see that happen.
Follow Me's not bad. I wanted to put in Escort to Safety. Just because there's gonna be so many people in a pile, and it's if they're trying to worry about escort to safety and your leadership, it's just like a puzzle. Follow Me is not terrible, but I don't really have anyone that stacks up a huge amount of power.
Right.
I'll give you a hot take. I'll give you another one.
What's that?
Jonathan the Unstoppable.
You think so?
It just locks it down if you have to deal with that the D shape. He just plops it down, never returns, just whatever. Nobody's going to run through you unless they're fast and stupid, then they get thrown off.
Yeah, but she doesn't get to play it on the first turn.
True.
So she has to stand on the back point for a whole round.
Or she go to maybe a side. I don't know. I think it's useful. It's a little hot take. I don't know. Seems good.
But it only contests as if it was an injured character. It's okay. So the reason I'm not going to take it is because I'm changing my character loadout. I forgot to put in Winter Soldier.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you left it out. I actually thought about it, but I thought you left it out conspicuously for some reason, like you didn't like him for it.
No. I'm tempted to cut. I've never put Honey Badger and X-23 in this list before, but I'm too scared to take them out because they seem very good. But I also know how good Hood is, so I'm in this weird spot where I have all these really good 3-point.
Too many riches.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually tempted to take out War Machine for Winter Soldier.
I recently didn't get any use out of War Machine, unless you're playing that one. Unless you're playing in the center, like he really doesn't do what he needs to do.
I kind of want to cut Hood because he's not affiliated, and I actually am worried that I'm going to end up taking more unaffiliated characters than affiliated characters, and it's going to fuck me. And so I'm going to have to force myself to not do that. So I think I'm going to cut Hood, and then we'll add in Winter Soldier.
If you take X-23 and Honey Badger, I take Exceptional Healing.
That's fair. Oh yeah, it's an X, not an E.
You're like, it's not on my thing.
It took me a second. I was like, where is it? All right, so I have another tactic slot because I cut Hood, so Hood's gang's out. Although I'll probably tweak this tomorrow. All right, so last card. I have Avengers Symbol, Heroes for Hire, Bitter Rivals, Field Dressing, Indomitable, Disarm, Marked for Death, Escort to Safety, Exceptional Healing.
Can you ever play till the end of the line?
I tend to not, but I like putting it in. I mean, this card's never getting played. There's too many good cards on this list. So it's fine. Because there is times when you're like, oh man, we're playing, Researcher. And I want to be able to, on turn 3, say, this is mine. Go away.
Also, Winter Soldier being next to Falcon makes a lot of sense. They both make each other very mobile, which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. Or rather, one of them makes the other very mobile, and that's what you want.
No, I mean, Winter Soldier can move himself if Sam's there, and Sam can move Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. So Winter Soldier gets extremely mobile, and, Sam has charge on a long move, so that's fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll put it in. All right, and then missions, which, again, we're basically just going as wide as possible. So, Filter Secures. We've got Superpowered Scoundrels. I do want, or do I want to go pay to flips? Because I don't care about my power.
I like pay to flips. That keeps you safe against criminals, and you're good at it.
All right. Well, Madman is obvious.
Yeah, Madman.
I've got a ton of good physical. So the other secures are Spider Portals. Is that right? Yeah. Spider Portals is 18. You gotta help me. I don't build these very often.
Well, Portals is good because when you end up getting moved off of it, you can move back with a daze or whatever.
Do they
I just can't remember which ones are actually fucking pay to flips.
Do they like intrusions? Would they like that?
They're not pay to flips.
Yeah.
And it'd be fine, but I think I want more points.
So,
but Meteors. It would be good because I could redistribute. Meteors is the other one. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So Meteors, Mutant Madman, Incursions would be interesting though because I could reposition all my guys wherever the battle needs them.
I think you're giving away your health pool, which is your best commodity. So,
Portals, Mutant Madman, and Deadly Meteors. And then doing it again with Extracts. Spider Infected.
This is a tricky
I'm going to put
one.
in cubes. I'm going to put in cubes because I want to discourage my opponent from picking them up.
Yeah.
Worthy actually wouldn't be terrible.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna do worthy. All right, I'll look at these tomorrow. I'll really dig through them, and I'll probably play test them both tomorrow. And I'll probably end up taking both lists to Omaha. So cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hopefully that wasn't too boring for everybody listening at home.
It was a bit
because what people generally,
most people don't go through this. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, it's like 4 times in a row. Jeremy, speak first, please.
What I find is when I listen to things like this that people are doing is I'm in the car driving, screaming at them, trying to name the things that they wrong, what they're wrong at. I think it's entertaining.
I'm sure, I didn't even look at the deployments on any of the missions I took, so that's what I'm going to do tomorrow at work, is I'm gonna thumb through them before games and be like, the more I think about it, the more I think I want B deployments or D deployments, and so I might tweak the missions a little bit. And I'm sure that's where the lists have the most to grow, is the missions. For me personally right now, I'm really disincentivized to worry about missions because I own a bunch of the missions right now because I still haven't gotten my cards back from Tim, and so that's very frustrating. Every time that's one of the reasons I've been super incentivized to play lately, is all the missions I want to play with, I don't have. And so
yeah, it sucks.
Every time I build a list, it's well, I can't play this. Anyway.
Jeremy, are you coming tomorrow?
I'll be up there, yeah.
Okay, cool.
You coming at about 10:30, 11?
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be there, but the reason why I care is I may ask to borrow some of your bottles, because apparently I'm going to be the only one at the tournament, and I may need a bottle or two.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
I need to contact the people up at running the Omaha event and make sure that we're doing chess clocks, because if they're like, oh yeah, we're not doing chess clocks, I might bring 10 chess clocks and be like, we're doing chess clocks. I don't want to get burned 3 fucking events in a row. I'll just stop traveling if that happens. It's so frustrating.
How many chess clocks does the store have?
22.
Okay. Plenty. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I could leave 5 or 6. I could take 10 to 12, and you guys would be more than fine.
Yeah.
I plan on, regardless, probably taking at least one. So I'm like, hey, we want to play with a chess clock, and so we'll just play with one. That reminds me, I need to take my camera. I always forget. It's been so long since I've been filming events and stuff. I keep forgetting. It's I need to bring my camera. It's already in the car. I just need to remember to not unpack it and make sure I have memory cards and stuff. Parker, do you go to the mall ever? Oak Park Mall?
Yeah.
Do they have an Apple store there?
I think so.
Okay. So if you saw someone stealing from the Apple store, would that make you an eyewitness?
Yes. That is the legal term for it. Yep.
The legal term?
The legal term.
Eyewitness?
The eyewitness. Got it. I got it.
A genius told me that one.
You did it. A genius.
Jeremy, 10 seconds later, genius.
I fucking hate those people.
Really?
My name has been Aaron. Get the fuck out of here.
For the fact that they're called geniuses in the store or whatever.
Yeah, it's so pompous that they call their customer. It's dude, you're fucking blue shirt. Get the fuck away from me.
This is the genius bar.
Yeah, that's they call their people.
It's a bit presumptive, but every experience I've had there has been both excellent and fine.
I don't have iPhone kind of money, Parker. I mean, not all of us can be teachers.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's probably going to wrap up the main segment today. So we'll go ahead and sign out. Thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully you weren't bored by us building lists. I think it's good to see the thought process people use when they're throwing lists together sometimes, because I think everyone builds lists a little bit differently, and so it's nice to see the different angles people approach it from. All right. Well, this has been Brandon
and Dr. Matus Toboggan, MD, this time.
Jeremy this time.
And this has been The Gang Builds Some Lists.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay.
incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.
It always
We
messes.
did it.
It always messes. Oh, we did do it. It always messes with my head whenever you when you cut out at exactly 5.
Oh, it does that because I am clapping
Mhm.
and the noise reduction of Discord kicks in and it cuts out the random spikes, and so that's why it mutes me.
Mhm.
It does the same to you guys. I don't hear you clap most of the time.
Mhm.
It just cuts out.
Yeah.
Agree.
I believe you can go in and turn off noise canceling in the settings, but I don't care to. Because, if I like drop something, it'll be really loud enough to go in and cut it out of the podcast anyway. So, how was your guys' week?
Parker, do you still have a job? What are you doing? What do you do during the summer? Why is Parker? What is Parker?
What is your boggle?
This week is straight up. This is actually the first time that Cecilia has fully engaged in summer activities. So it's swim team and tutoring, and basically she's old enough to start doing things in the summer. And my youngest is the opposite of that. She's still the age where this is actually her first summer off completely, because before she would go to preschool at least once or twice a week, or in the mornings every day of the week. So this is her first summer completely off, and so basically I'm having to entertain one and transport / help the other, because she has homework every day for tutoring. And this whole swim team thing's been real touch and go. So mostly that's what I've been doing. Trying not to get super stressed out about it. Trying to say this is fun. This
Look,
is good.
the good news is it's only going to get a lot worse.
So I decided to do something. It was a little parenting experiment, because I don't have vivid memories of myself in age 8, which is where Cece is right now.
Okay.
But I do remember there have been times in my life when I just didn't know things. Like, how could I have possibly known what that was? So I just trusted my parents when they said, do this. It will not be the thing you want to do. It will not be the thing that you would ever reach for, but we know you enough and you trust us, so just do this thing. And because I did trust them, I went, okay, I'll try it. And I remember doing that several times in my life, and a few of them I immediately was like, okay, thank you for letting me know about this. Not my favorite. And a few of them defined my life for years as a young person, because they did know me, and it worked. So this time, basically, for swim team this summer, this is the very first time I ever went ahead and said, you know what, you don't know what this is. How could you possibly? This might be something you really like. I know a lot about you, and I know a lot about your interests, and I think you would really enjoy this. And she's like, I don't know what it is, so I don't wanna. And they're like,
Yeah.
well, I understand that, but we're gonna try it anyway, and you're just going to trust me. And I've never done that before as a parent. That's only ever been, you want to do it? Cool, we'll do it until you say no, then I'm fucking out, because I do not want to do it. So that's the way Dance was. Dance was that for a little while. Every single time I was like, please quit, please quit, please quit, please quit. I do not want to be part of this.
Mm-hmm.
But this one I was like, you know what? This is a good thing. This is a good thing. You will only enjoy this. It's not hard for me. We live right next to the headquarters of the local rec pool league, swimming league, and we live next to their biggest pool. So at a certain point in your life, when you're big enough to take this seriously, I won't even need to bring you to it. You'll just go, and I'll show up at meets. This is only going to work out well if it works out, but you'll have to get over the initial shock of something new that you don't know very well.
Mm-hmm.
So that first one was today, and she didn't make it all the way across the pool. The first time. The second time, she was able to do it, but it was too much. It was just too much. Overwhelmed her for sure.
I love how you have these amazing ideas and plans and like these in-depth thoughts about what's going to happen with an 8-year-old. At some point, you're going to realize that you're just throwing shit against the wall. One of it's going to stick, some of it's not. But I love your planning progress. I love it.
I guess strategy in all things, right? I know.
Yeah.
I know. God laughs when you make plans, and it all works. The best strategies, fall apart as soon as the first boot touches the ground, right? Then all strategies are out the window. Like I get that, and I wasn't sure that she was going to love it. I wasn't. And Sarah, here's another thing, which is I was talking to Sarah about this. She didn't have a panic attack or anything. She just got scared of the water, and so she came. She swam back to the edge and didn't want to swim for a little bit, and then got back in later and swam. But I had a student once, and he was 4'2", trying to play middle school basketball because all of his friends did. And for 2 of the tryout days, he had panic attacks, like massive panic attacks, and had to go home. Like they thought he was having a heart attack. His friends scared his friends shitless. And so I was really close to this group of guys that were all the friends that were doing the basketball thing. And so they actually approached me and said, "Can you talk to?" I'll just say his name is Tommy. That's not his name, but can you talk to Tommy? We think it would be good if you talk to him. And I'm like, okay, like this is, talk about like self-actualized 14-year-olds, right? They're looking for help. And so I sat down with him and said, "Hey, man, I heard you're having a hard time." He's like, "Yeah." And I said, "What pushes you to go back out, to do this?" Because he had me for the last hour of the day, and he was already starting a panic attack. He was starting panic attack number 3 in front of me as I was talking to him. And he said, I just don't want to quit. I just don't want to be a quitter." And I'm guessing that was his parents talking, but also partially him. He's probably actualized enough to not like the idea of a shame of quitting. And I said, "You know what? The word quit gets a bad rap because like when you hear the word quitter, and you think of like the shame and disappointing others, that's really intense. That's really intense negative experience. But you know what they call somebody who stops smoking? Brave, and that's a quitter." Because there's something in their life that is damaging them, but they feel compelled to do it. They absolutely should stop because it's only bad for them, but they feel compelled to do it. And, is this your smoking? Is this what smoking is for you? Should you be proud of quitting this because it's only going to be good for your life? Because if you continue to do this, it's just going to keep putting you back in this horrible place, and you feel compelled to do it. Should you quit this and be proud of it? And he thought it really it turned his thought upside down, and he ended up quitting that practice. And I'm glad he did, because I didn't want him to have any more panic attacks. But
you're like, this panic attack thing is out of hand.
Yeah. So I thought about that today with Cecilia. I was like, is this smoking for her yet? Is this smoking? Should I be counseling her to deal, to try to let go of this and get away from it? And not yet. I'm convinced not yet. I don't think I'm projecting at all. I think she just it was something brand new, and she had expectations that weren't what happened, and so she should try it again and see it again. But if it keeps happening, I'm going to say, you know what? I think this is smoking. I think you should be proud of quitting. I think you should get brave and say, not this year, not now, maybe later in my life, or maybe never in my life. But you know what? You can still love swimming and not be on swim team. That's okay. But at the end of the day, I think I'm raising nerds.
Well,
they just want to sit themselves and play video games and read comic books. That's their favorite thing to do right now. So.
Well, I mean, you're certainly creating tiny versions of you, and no matter how you slice it, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
And then they hit like that age of between 15 and 24, where they're either going to lean into you and become more like you, or they're going to spiral out of fucking control and then come back to you about the age of 24, 25 and be like, Jesus Christ, I'm so glad I'm alive and I love you to death.
Yeah.
Like, that's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like with school being out and everything, I always wonder kind of what teachers do in the dark.
A lot of folks. Well, one of them is coaching the swim team. Like,
There you go.
yeah, there's a lot of people who just keep doing coaching, or they keep doing odd jobs, side jobs. There was one of them. One of my friends did FedEx. Like, he just went straight from what he was doing to FedEx.
Amazon does that stuff too. You can make good money just for a quick little, park trucks for Amazon for a couple months and make pretty decent money. I went and saw Bob's Burgers, the movie. That could have been just a long episode. I don't know if you guys are into Bob's Burgers, but
not really.
I loved Bob's Burgers. I said loved because it's just not kid friendly enough for my kids to see it right now, and so I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, they've been watching. My boy's been watching it for about a year or so, but they're not that into it. Like they laugh at some of the stuff and then kind of find something else to do. But I've always dug it, and I was disappointed in the movie. Like, I don't know if you watched The Simpsons a lot, and then all of a sudden there was going to be a Simpsons movie, and it's like, oh shit, yeah, let's go see that. And the movie to me was like, I don't know, 10 times better than the show ever wanted to be. Like, the movie is just amazing. It's super funny, super smart, and all that. And I expected that at Bob's Burgers, and like
they turned the game up a lot, trying to really have like something special. Is where like Bob's Burgers just like, this is just like a 2-part episode.
It is. It 100% was. Like, all the jokes were about the same level, and the humor's about the same, and there wasn't anything that interesting aside from just being Bob's Burgers. I'm like, okay. It's one of those where I looked over and I was like, hey guys, was it funny? And they were like, yeah, we liked it. I'm like, well, it wasn't a total waste of like $50.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That Spider Pig to this day will live on in infamy.
I've never seen any of those.
The Simpsons movie was tremendous. I actually don't think you have to ever see.
No, you don't.
Any Simpsons.
I've only seen probably about a total 1 season worth of The Simpsons, and I don't know. I've never really gone back to watch it, but I enjoyed what I saw, and I'm sure I'd like the movie.
Yeah.
The movie is super, super smart and witty, and like quick. Like, it's very quick and sharp. Like, again, they upped their game big time. All the writers like stepped up, and they just nailed it. And I expected that.
Is it just the one writer?
Oh no,
no, it's a group.
There's a whole team.
I thought the Mark whatever guy I thought was the guy who wrote The Simpsons.
Matt Groening invented the characters.
Oh, okay.
He just invented the characters. He still writes too, I think. But
oh, he was the exclusive writer. I didn't realize that, but I've never really looked into it. So
I just did a good call and response joke. Guy says Magic Mike grossed $167 million. If you still think girls like dad bods, keep dreaming, pal. And the response was, Shrek grossed $484 million, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
Shrek.
Nice.
Did you watch the SNL skits of the two guys doing the Saturday update or whatever it is, where they write each other's jokes?
Oh god, those are the best. Yes.
That is, I mean, I'm not huge on SNL, but that is some of the funniest shit I've seen in a long time. Is when they have to read each other's jokes live on the air and they don't know what they are in advance. And the black guy keeps writing all the racist jokes. The white guy keeps doing all the insensitive stuff. And so they're both just reading the worst jokes ever. And they're both like horribly embarrassed. It's pretty funny.
It is a really good little segment they do when they do that. And they couldn't have a more white guy than Colin Jost. I mean, like...
Yeah. I loved the... Fuck, what was it? I can't remember the movie that they were saying was being recast, but it was Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. I think it was pretty funny. Anyway, did you guys do your homework?
No.
Just say no now. Just save time.
No, I did not.
Yeah.
What was the homework this time?
Oh my god. Parker, you work at a school.
Was it to look at the tournament packet?
No.
Oh. I actually considered that today, but I didn't. So there was
You're
some
supposed
homework.
to come up with 3 combinations of models that you really like in the game that don't involve a leadership bonus.
Yeah, I didn't do that at all.
Oh my god.
Really? When was that assigned?
That was last week.
Are you sure that was us?
I listened to the
Yes.
entire episode I listened to the entire episode. I actually listened to the past 4 episodes over the last 2 days, and I don't remember that. Did it happen before we recorded? Maybe
4 episodes, and that's Jesus Christ. What were you doing?
I was driving.
So you're saying you had the time to think about it. You just chose to do something else.
No, I chose to listen to our own episodes because I was in the car going, I really don't want to fall asleep. How can I not fall asleep? And I was like, I bet if I listened to my own podcast, I bet I wouldn't fall asleep. And I did not.
He vanity listens. Like, that's the only podcast he has on his player. Just the one.
It is the only podcast that shows up. Yep. This one is the only one. I am a fan of one. I only need one. This podcast.
I just imagined you had them all on Blu-ray.
Yeah, Blu-ray. I have them. I have this one on Laserdisc. It's a big ass motherfucker. It's like the size of my chest. It's really cool.
I play mine on Sega CD. I don't.
Sega. Speaking of Sega, saw Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so did you guys see this movie?
Like on purpose?
No, I saw it on purpose. I really liked the first one, actually. The first Sonic. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And Jim Carrey, once again, is Jim Carrey. He does a good job being zany. But one of the things I thought this I say game because this is what this movie decided to do. This movie decided to just take all the things that happened in a Sonic game and went, how could that actually happen in real life? What would have to happen?
The physics.
Yeah,
what would have to happen? You're like, well, this I guess, and this I guess, and this I guess. Like,
is it like when they like try and put the obvious like ramp in the car movie, and like yeah, I'm sure you could drive directly into a concrete barrier and just ramp at a 45-degree angle. That's probably what happens.
And the movie, because of course Jim Carrey's in it, right? So he makes fun of it sometimes, right? He makes like on camera, he's making fun, they let him make fun of it. But like at one point there is a scene where a temple shows up, just a big temple, and inside the temple is just covered in booby traps, and so he has to run around and avoid booby traps, which is precisely what you do in Sonic games. And like but they don't look like real booby traps. They look like booby traps that have like Legends of the Hidden Temple. Like they look like the most cardboard cutout booby traps you can think of.
Yeah.
They're like giant. It's like
the scene in Dragon Ball Z when one of the rocks is a different color, and you're like, I wonder which rock's gonna explode.
Well, it's not even like that. It's just like you know how like in cartoons for some reason, like how do you explain the physics of a giant concrete piston like the size of a Mack truck slamming into a wall and then slowly moving out, and then slamming into a wall and then slowly moving out? Like what system are they using to make that happen? Well, that's what
use the thompers in like Mario Brothers.
Right,
like,
the
please
thompers.
Explain.
Like how is that a thing? And that they just have those in this scene. And I was like, okay. Like everything about the movie is just one thing after another of that, which is they're just going to say, go ahead and see what would happen if they just put it. It was really also there is Jeremy, did you see it?
I did see it.
Did you have any idea what the entire Hawaii subplot and scene was in for?
No.
That was the only. Isn't that amazing? That whole part there. Spoiler alert, Brandon. In 15 minutes of the movie takes place in Hawaii, and Sonic and Tails are on Hawaiian Islands. They're captured, and so instead of following them for a little while because they're captured, we follow these two women that know them well, and they're like doing this extremely long like buddy cop montage where they're like helping like to rescue them, but it's really long and very contrived, and there's a romantic subplot in there, and there's a new character introduced that you never meet. Okay, I want to watch the whole movie again because there's a new character, the general of the American Bureau of Investigation or whatever. It's a made up thing. And he shows up and he goes, you should have taken up my offer for Olive Garden. That's what he says out loud while he's holding a gun to the main characters. So you should have taken my offer. And Sarah and I both look at each other like, what the fuck is he talking about? Was there a part in this movie where this character shows up and offers them Olive Garden? I'm pretty sure I watched this whole movie. That was never here.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you don't go to a movie stoned.
Yeah, I was like, is that what? And so I think
Is it a reference to like an old movie or something? Like,
I thought maybe
a famous actor from Lethal Weapon that invites somebody to Olive Garden.
Right? Like, is this this character? Is this some? You're right. Maybe it's not even in this movie. Maybe it's not from Sonic 1. I thought it was Sonic 1, and maybe it's actually from like some other movie this guy has been in, because he's been a character actor in a bunch of stuff, and he's always the same guy. He's always hard-nosed, older bureau captain guy. Like, that's what he always says. And so, anyway. That part of the movie could have been completely excised, and I would have really enjoyed it. That's the only part. And there was a movie full of Thompers and Sonic going snowboarding down a mountain for like 5 minutes straight. That was all just straight out of a video game, and I did not mind it at all. Totally fine. Sonic has a dance battle with a group of Siberian Russian guys. Did not care. Did not blink until the guy makes the comment about Olive Garden, and then it completely threw me out of the movie for 15 minutes. It was the weirdest. I don't get it. So, you listeners, if you're still holding on at this point, kudos to you. Kudos. And if you see this movie, maybe you can tell me why this part of the movie was in the movie, because I struggle. But
if you have answers for this, make sure you send an email to ominous.
Yeah.
Ominous protocol.
Yeah.
He really wants. He'll forward it to me. He actually screens.
I mean, it might take a while to catch up to. He's handling all of our T-shirt orders right now.
Yeah.
He said they're about done, but you need to ask him for it.
He said they should be going out soon.
So I think I am. Here's the thing about me and homework. You said I'm a teacher, and my students make that kind of comment all the time. They go,
I didn't know if you want people to know you're a teacher. I just said you work at a school.
No, I'm a teacher.
Okay.
There's not that many jobs there, and I don't talk about cooking. Nor
I like to imagine that Parker is Charlie Kelly trying to get a job as a school janitor. Like, the principal hates him and wants to get rid of him as soon as possible.
Yeah. But what was I going to say? I was going to say something. My students will often be like, wow, you haven't thought of this beforehand, or you haven't worked on this. I go, no. My favorite when I learned how to do school, I stopped ever doing it outside of school, because as it turns out, you don't have to do anything outside of school and pass school as long as you're not a dumbass about it. You just have to learn the techniques, just figure out how to get A's without working hard. As it turns out, you'll only ever have to do that like maybe twice in your life. And of all the classes, all the way up to university and master's degree, you'll maybe ever have to work hard for 2 A's ever. Everything else is just a formula. Figure it out and you succeed. So I was always doing stuff at the last minute or right before it was due, and it never bothered me. And now I teach. And oh, by the way, I'm not a hypocrite. I just don't give homework. I don't give a shit when they do it. I tell them, I said, do it before I always tell them, here's the absolute last minute that I can give you a grade for it, because the grade system locks. Turn it in before that moment and I'll give you 100%. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care when you do it. Do it.
You swear in front of your children?
I don't swear in front of students because I get in trouble. But I do.
Not because I don't think they need to hear it, but
I do tell them, I said, my class is called Science, Not Responsibility. If I was teaching responsibility, I would not use science curriculum to do it. I would do a whole bunch of different things where we were learning, much, much higher stakes and much more engagement than this bullshit. So I don't teach responsibility. I don't teach engagement. I teach science. I'm going to do my very best to do that. So your grade in science is based upon your ability to do science, not your ability to manage multiple tasks simultaneously. You probably will have to necessarily, because that's what a science experiment looks like. But the part where you have to turn something in is not one of them. But my class is called Science, Not Responsibility. What?
So Jeremy, have you put any thought into this exercise at all?
I have. I mean, the first time you brought it up, I had some things that popped in my head, and then you brought it up again, and I had some things that popped in my head.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I could do the project, but again, I didn't do homework. Did you do homework?
I did it, yeah.
Yeah. Are you watching wrestling?
No. I did it. Mine's done.
And
did you do enough for all of us to have one? Can you pass it out to the group?
I did 3. You were supposed to come up with 3 combinations of at least 2 characters that you really like for reasons that do not involve leadership abilities.
You like them together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, as an example, theoretically, you would say, I like taking Spider-Man and Venom because I like the interaction of uneasy allies, would be an example. And I find that on the board, they complement each other because they both have board control and they can both fight. Like, that would be an example.
What about if I take one that I like, but there's also a leadership? Does that disqualify
If
them?
the combination involves the leadership bonus, then no.
Okay.
Like, if you said, I like taking Thanos with Captain America because Thanos likes discounted superpowers, you're like, that's not a reason. Like, that's just a leadership bonus.
Here's the one.
But if you're like, I only care about him having a good bodyguard, the leadership bonus is extra, that's fine. But, like, you have to have a reason other than I like this leadership ability.
Oh, okay. Well, that is by that qualification, I'm going to keep this one. I was about to tell you, okay. I'm not going to spoil it because the leadership is actually just jelly on top of what I think it's actually good for.
Yeah, that's fine. I actually have 4. I have a backup one in case one of you guys steals one of mine.
I have my first 2 are really obvious, like the kind of like baked into the characters. I kind of want to take one that's not so obvious.
If you say X-23 and Honey Badger, I'll punch you in the head.
Right,
yeah,
that was one
much.
of them. That was one of them. I was like, that's like baked.
Rocket and Groot. I find Rocket and Groot do really well in a team.
Right.
Like,
that's I was like, it's really obvious.
Come at you like a spider
I mean,
monkey.
this is supposed to be a non-super obvious stuff. Like, yeah, if you say X-23 and Honey Badger, I'm going to slap you.
Okay.
Because, like
I'm going to take them
shit.
off. Okay, well, I'm going to take both of my first 2, actually. I think.
Weird. Rocket, Groot, and X-23 and Honey Badger made his
my
list.
first one was Loki and Thor, but that's obvious, right? Because they have a card that says Loki and Thor.
I don't think that's necessarily obvious.
Oh, really?
I think that's... Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fine package because, yeah, they have a tactics card that works together, but they don't have multiple superpowers on their cards that say use other model.
Right. So this is not Corvus Glaives and Proxima Midnight. This is not Honey Badger.
Right.
And
Yeah, this is not Sin and Crossbones. Like, there's not a superpower
but
literally.
You qualified it with I had to like them. I don't like Sin and Crossbones together because I have to take Crossbones.
I like Crossbones with Sin. I think they're an okay 6-point package together. But it's not exceptional. Like, they're as good as any other 2 random 3-point models, as opposed to being exceptionally good as where, like, Rocket and Groot X-23 are.
Right.
I feel like Jeremy is scrambling and then trying to decide if he should write anything down or not.
If I had a thought bubble, that's exactly what it is.
He's like, should I bother writing this down? I keep having small glimpses at what I should say, but then I forget it immediately.
Yeah. Well, no, it's more like I'm thinking, okay, I have some, and then I'm certain that I'm going to look to the left and there'll be a squirrel, and I'll completely forget all of it.
Yeah.
So,
Parker, I saved our topic from last week we were thinking about doing, but I was going to have us talk about something else this week since there's something coming up this weekend.
Hold on. I lost because there's a lot of thems and thens. And there's a lot of pronouns. What?
So the tactics card discussion we were going to have last week, I'm pushing that to next week.
Because we'll actually know, maybe.
Because we might actually know, 1, and then 2 is we have something else to talk about this week.
Cool.
So this week I want to talk about, as a side note, my real question is, what should I play this weekend? But the actual topic is, what are the top meta lists?
Wait.
But
there's a tournament this weekend?
Yes.
Oh, of course. I knew that.
I knew that. First Saturday of the month. But also, I'm not going to be there.
Oh.
Yeah, I will explain later.
Okay. I may be the only one on the cast there.
That's probably going to be true.
So there hasn't been any information in the last week, right? Like, there's like nothing.
I don't think so.
I have 2 pieces of news I'm going to put on there, which is we have the schedule and the renewal of vows. That's the only thing that's on here.
Yeah. The schedule's not news. That's been out for a while, but yeah. You can read the schedule if you want, because this will be coming out about 4 or 5 days before the actual thing starts, so.
I think I have 3.
Jeremy, have you turned the gears enough?
I'm fine. I'll think of something while you guys are talking. And
if
I don't,
he'll use Rocket and X-23.
Yeah, I will, motherfuckers. I don't think I won't. It'll be one of those, wait, I just thought of something amazing.
Guys, what if you took Rocket Raccoon and someone who could protect him like a Koye? I'm like, Jesus Christ.
She'd be amazing at that.
I do want to add the caveat, though. No one is allowed to say Thanos with any of this shit. Like that's
all three of mine involve Thanos, so I'm not going to accept that.
It's Thanos and X.
Fuck that.
Thanos. I put on my first one Thanos and Corvus Glaive. My second one is Thanos and Proxima Midnight. My third one is Corvus and Proxima. I call it the trifecta of doom.
Oh, well, good news then. I have 123 ways that are effective. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly very tired. I had no caffeine today. All right. It's a good time stamp.
Oh, shit.
Plural.
I like how we
And
started
we're back.
off. Yeah. By the way, I like how we started off with, we don't have to like build the list or anything. Just what affiliation do I play? And then
Well, it was for if we were like yeah, let's play like some weird combination of these two or something. Like it'd be more interesting. But we pretty much just kept hammering on the same two. It was like, well, let's just talk about the ones that we want to make. So
look, man, it's like natural. It just kind of like flows.
Yeah,
you know, like relax.
Hey, Parker, just because I can't stop myself, what is the difference between... Jeremy can't even get through it. Jeremy, what is the difference between a well-dressed man on a unicycle and a poorly dressed man on a bicycle?
I don't know, Brandon. What is the difference?
mm-hmm.
Attire.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh my god.
Get it? With two T's.
I don't understand.
It's like a pun. And they call it a pun because that's like a double meaning.
Oh, like attire is round and like clothes are square.
Yeah, that one.
It's like that. Cool.
Are you the particular individual that is the unfit mother? Oh boy. I've had that one on the list for a while. I finally got to it. I was like, I'll just load it up again tomorrow. I was like, go ahead and just clean the slate. I'm kind of interested to see what the meta's like in Omaha. I haven't played any games in Omaha.
I'm trying to think who's out there.
I know there's a store up there that plays.
Yeah. But I don't
know any of them personally.
But one of the group, like, there's the Tulsa people, and there's, I don't know any of the Omaha people.
I was so excited to like start traveling for Marvel Crisis. Just go to local events, like go to Arkansas, go to Oklahoma, go to
sure.
more not Western Kansas, more Central Kansas for some events. Maybe go down to Springfield, and then like the remodel and everything happened, and like I lost like 10 consecutive weekends, and now it's like, man, I could like actually look at doing that stuff again. I'm not fucking drowning. It's weird.
Yeah, once I get past this weekend and half of this month, I'm so annoyed I can't participate this weekend. It's so fucking stupid.
I mean, if for all the weekends that you're missing, this is probably a good one, honestly.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh,
a big
you
deal,
meant because you wanted to go to Bug Eater, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah, to spend 3 days chilling out at a fucking convention or whatever it is, like. It just
Jeremy, you can go.
Oh, I can. I can also
okay.
cut my own hand off. Like, I can.
I don't recommend that one.
No.
I do recommend going to Bug Eater.
No matter what.
I was reading through the names on fucking Marvel Crisis Protocol database, and I fucking scrolled over Medusa's name, and it almost made me break right in the middle of the podcast. Medusalith Amaquelin Boltagon. What the fuck? Who did this?
Some of the least creative human beings.
Yeah.
Jeez. It just makes me angry. Like who didn't stop you? Like, who allowed this to go to print?
Yeah. Tell me.
There were humans involved in the process. It wasn't fully automated. Fucking AI could design better shit than this.
It reminds me of that.
It's literally like if you shoved a comic book in and a word jumble into a blender, and you're like, "Make a name, bitch!" Like that's about what we got.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like in Elf, where he was like, "The book's not even finished. We don't even know what happens to the puppy." He's like, "Ship it." No one will know. Like what?
They can barely read. Oh man. I just realized I'm going to be out of town this weekend. I have to edit this podcast.
Better hurry. Better start now.
Damn it. I leave at 8 a.m. on Friday. I work till midnight.
Oops.
Balls.
All right. So,
hey, Parker, do you know how to use Audacity? You want to edit the podcast?
No.
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 Oh, boy. I knew there was something I was forgetting. This whole day, I was like, man, I was so productive. I did laundry. I packed. Like, I'm so much more ready for the vacation than any other time I've left town in, like, years. Oh, yeah, there's, shit, I have to edit a podcast.
Oops.
I guess I could do it now. That would equal more sleep before driving to Omaha. Damn it. I'm gonna be responsible. Alright, well, we better get out of here then, because I got shit to do.
Yep.
Something popped up.
Yeah. Guys, I'm busy. I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, you ready?